Alike is a good student, living with her parents and younger sister in Brooklyn.
You look beautiful, baby.
This isn't me.
With the help of her best friend Laura, she starts to quietly but firmly embrace her identity as a lesbian.
Say somebody liked you.
Seeking a girlfriend, Alike must decide what to confide into her family while navigating the challenges of adolescence and coming out in Pariah.
Leah, Liz, you've just seen it. Liz, why don't you tell us what you thought?
Well, in going in and seeing this movie titled Pariah, I expected to see a story about an outcast who is really suffering through her sexual identity, and I was greeted with actually quite the opposite. Our protagonist, Lee, or Alike. It doesn't really seem like she's constantly experiencing a lot of persecution about her sexual identity.
Pariah is, one of these titles of a film that is multifaceted. There's a lot going on with this story about this 17-year-old coming of age. And not only is she coming into exploring her own sexuality, but she's coming into exploring her lesbian sexuality. And she is, at moments, confident about who she is and where she's at. But where she is faltering is, do I like girls? What kind of lesbian am I gonna be? We see her trying to fit in, and I think that that's where the notion of Pariah comes in. And we see this struggle that this character has in terms of, how do I be gay? How do I talk to girls? How do I deal with myself? And I think perhaps where we see the most conflict, how do I deal with my family?
I need you to meet with my guidance counselor so you can sign the paperwork so I can graduate early.
I'm sorry, all right? I'm sorry I let her hurt you.
I just need to know if you signed the paperwork, yes or no.
Can you forgive me?
Yes or no.
I wasn't blown away by any of the performances in the film. I did think our lead was probably the strongest piece in the entire puzzle.
So our lead, Alike, is played by Adepero Oduye. Don't you think she looked a little bit like a young Whoopi Goldberg?
Well, I'm nervous about saying anything because I guess this is one of my neuroses as a white female, but I don't want to compare any black actresses to each other, especially not to Whoopi Goldberg.
It's a trap.
Everyone looks different.
The surprise performance for me was Kim Wayans. Most of us are familiar with Kim Wayans as a comedian. Mm-hmm. And here she is, reeled in, toning it way down, and delivering a very solid performance.
And I thought you said you were ready.
I am ready.
You're not going to church in that.
What's wrong with this?
Where's that blouse I bought you?
The characterization of the Kim Wayans mother is something that you can really identify with. Mm-hmm. I think we all have people in our lives who are a little bit over-controlling, much like this character. But the film didn't dip into melodrama, which I think with this subject matter, it could very easily have done. When there's confrontations, they're not done, with Alike crying and sobbing in front of her parents, just accept me for who I am. It's done with a certain amount of restrainment and class, and I think that also I can respect in the film.
What? This is me. Yeah, it's not so bad when there's a little conversation. You wanna come up?
I didn't love this film through 3/4 of it, but when we got to that climactic scene, my eyes were wet. I was emotionally affected by this, and that's when I started to re-examine the first 2/3 of the film.
I did love this film, and I think I loved it for some personal reasons also. You don't get to see a whole lot of positive black women on the screen. You just don't. So you see this film where you see this kind of rich, diverse palette of different expressions of black femininity and black female sexuality. It's a young woman who is just struggling to fit in. It just hooked me very early on, and I just went for the ride, and so I enjoyed it.
And most importantly, I look forward to the next film by Dee Rees. And even if this film feels a little bit green and immature, I look forward to see what happens next.
Yes, I think that this is a filmmaker that has clearly established that they have something to say.
Well, this seems like it's very geared to a female demographic. Do you think the guys are going to get anything out of it?
At first glance, it will look like a film that people feel that they can't connect to, unless you're black, female, and lesbian. However, there's a lot going on in this movie thematically that anybody who has ever struggled with trying to break away from their parents, anybody who's ever been 17 and tried to figure out how to get laid, if you've ever had any of those experiences, I think that there's something in this film for everyone.
All right, ladies, why don't we take it to a vote? Take your tickets.
It's a great opportunity to see characters you wouldn't normally see. However, I don't think it's worth the $15 you have to shell out to do so on the big screen. So I say, stream it.
Pariah is a very unique coming-of-age story that has a lot going on thematically for diverse audiences out there, and I think it's an important film to support at the theater, so I'm going to say see it.
That's 1.5 tickets, which is a see it for Pariah.
Yay!
Cheers.